ever notice how the fear of a feeling you're gonna have is much worse than the actual feeling itself? I mean, right now, I'm standing here half a divorcee, wondering if I should have just stayed scared forever. I'm in the middle of a breakup. My ex moved out, and suddenly that numbing fear of what's it gonna feel like to be alone was the glue that kept us together. Now, it's not a big deal. Sure, there's been a black cloud, but I know I'm doing the right thing. Picture a pathetic demon of divorce, limping behind me, clutching a breakup contract and begging, "Don't leave me." Flashback to my drinking days. I was an active alcoholic. I convinced myself, what if I'm physically addicted? What if I get sick, lose all my friends, never have fun again? None of that shit was true. I thought I needed booze to speak to girls or to make music. So there I was, floundering in a keg of my own fears, while Norfmare, my superhero coping mechanism, stood there face-palming as I spilled beer all over myself. Eventually, I decided to quit. It turned into a full-blown battle. Me versus the demon of sobriety. Beer cans flying like grenades, my palms were sweating, my heart was racing. But here's the kicker. My whole life started when I stopped drinking. I made more and better music, finally had money in my pocket, and discovered video games don't cost a kidney. First, a demon of sobriety popped out of my liquor cabinet. Then I found myself in a tiny boxing ring with gloves labeled willpower. Finally, future sober me stood on a podium, basking in victory, receiving a high five from Norfmare. It wasn't painless. Those first few weeks sucked. I felt bad. Waves of misery washed over me, and I realized I'd been running from my feelings my entire life. But it worked out just fine. I wasn't as dependent as I thought. The thing I feared the most, the panic, the withdrawal, the endless anxiety, turned out to be a much smaller monster than the one in my head. That's anticipatory anxiety in action. We call it impact bias, the tendency to blow future pain out of proportion. Daniel Kahneman talks about it if you want a fancy name, but the takeaway is simple. You're not alone.